Alright, what's up y'all, it's like a fan here. As y'all can see by the title of today's video, we're here to introduce you to the new Demigod Slasher. This thing is crazy, unguardable in every aspect, from post hooks to driving to standing dunks, catching standing lobs, pick and roll man, all types of stuff. So we're here to introduce you to this. If you're new and you're looking for this build and you searched it up for the best slasher build, we're here to introduce you to this. I'll go ahead and show you guys the rating breakdown and what badges you should run a little bit further in the video. But anyway, if y'all enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on the noties, all that good stuff. Let's try this 1 to 1K likes in the first 24 hours. So like I said, end of the video, we'll show the full breakdown on how to actually build this. But real quick, you can see 29 finishing, 1 shooting, 11 playmaking, 10 defense. So for the finishing badges, I'm just going to explain what you're capable of getting with this. So 29 you would think is overkill, but as I've experienced the fact of how you can actually post hook with this build, you're gonna need things like pro touch, consistent, and deep hooks. Now normally with a slasher, I don't recommend using those. I feel like it's more so dunk or nothing, so I usually go with things like fancy footwork. Anything on the hops for the acrobat definitely helps, and things like showtime are also nice to have as well. But with this, honestly, even 29 almost feels like it's not enough. So if you want to unlock all types of ability, I'm talking, like I said, this is a very versatile build, from hooks to dunks to catching lobs to anything. It actually requires a whole lot of finishing badges. But I will say something you could probably cut out a little bit of is relentless. Maybe drop a little bit of pro touch or consistent depending on what you're trying to do with the hook shots. Same thing goes for deep hooks. Realistically speaking, you probably don't need this on Hall of Fame in most situations other than, you know, just being toxic on the 1v1 card. I'm gonna just put it like that. Now, I do want to say with this build too, I don't want too many people getting enticed by this in the first place, because I think a lot of people are going to use this in the wrong way. For me, this is a really cool build to where I have things like standing dunk and driving dunk super high at 6'10". And like I said, this is the very toxic part about this build right here. I will say this, honestly, this game's balance as far as the dunking ability to the post hooking ability, the post hooks are so much more OP. Like, for a slasher, I feel like you can still be dominant, right? You'll definitely still get your share of contact dunks, hop dunks, make a couple BS layups here and there, but you'll also miss easy ones. Like I'm talking, and maybe that's because I have no close shot, and we'll talk about that a little bit into the video as well, just for the reason that I ended up going with a low close shot. But you'll even miss easy layups where it's driving layup, 84 rating, and it's like a 4% contest. You just miss it for no reason. That's just how this game works. But with the post hooks, man, the shot aiming and all this BS like that, you can straight up just shoot slightly left or slightly right, and you don't even have to time the thing properly, and it goes in probably 50 times out of 51, to be completely honest with you. I ran this 1v1 rush court literally for, I would say, 6 hours, missed 2 post hooks the entire time, and I didn't do too many of them, I'm not gonna lie. Like it was probably around like 30 or 40 and the probably 50 games that I played of this thing. But I definitely was testing out the finishing ability. This is beautiful when it comes to driving dunk ability, and same with the standing dunk too. Loved it for the drop steps. I'm not worried about the 52 strength at all. It was perfectly fine when it came to doing drop steps, post spinning people. Now, one more thing that I want to advocate for you guys maybe doing is to upgrade your post moves a little bit more than I did right here. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to have too many issues with it, but I did notice that people were ripping me really easily when I was holding LT down low, and you know, it turned into me having to have a lot more finesse game when it came to it. So I couldn't allow people to get too close to me when it came to me posting up and them being on my back and like trying to get the steals, right? So a lot of times the post speed boost and stuff like that, and you know, just going for the drop steps and whatnot, I'd be really diligent and like really quick with what I'm trying to do in the post. But anyway, the combination of post scoring and slashing in this build, it's crazy. This is literally unguardable. And y'all saw the video from yesterday with the lob catching. If you're subbed to the channel, that thing, it goes crazy, bro. Like, and this build, the only reason I even made it in the first place is the fact that at 6'10", you can catch standing lobs like crazy. And you can see I went with the speed invert pie chart. But anyway, I'm gonna fully break down how we built this real quick. Then I'll show y'all some highlights at the very end of the video. Alright, so here's the deal on this. So I went with the small forward for this build so I could get the driving contact dunks. If you're someone that wants the big man contact dunks instead, power forward or center is going to be the move for this one. You can still easily make it 6'10", obviously. But I wanted the driving contact dunks on top of that, just to be like super tall and doing little guy things, I guess. And there are a couple dunk packages that are restricted to point guard, shooting guard, and small forward, and that allows you to unlock them, obviously, by being a small forward. So anyway, this is the pure blue pie chart. You're going to go with this one. I went with the speed invert on this. If you want to go with the pure speed, if you choose to go with like 6'9" or 6'8" on this type of build, I bet you'll still be able to do the post hooks pretty consistently, and I wouldn't really worry about that too much. And then obviously the ball handling is going to have a huge increase, but I will say it feels kind of worthless to go with a 6'8" pure slasher build, or even 6'7" this year, at the fact that pro dribble moves take all the way to 85 ball handling to unlock. So the typical 6'8" to 6'7" pure slash that unlocks those 70 ball handling pro dribble moves, it's not really a thing this year. So I just figured might as well go tall on this. Now I will say the one struggle that I have as far as this build, in my humble opinion, of, you guys know if you're subbed to the channel, I'm a huge hater of the tall, the tall bigs that are super slow, super worthless when it comes to pick and roll game. I don't think this is a good build when it comes to 3v3. I do think, however, this is a super dominant 2v2 build. I would definitely recommend to run this. Like I said, great rep build as well for catching standing lobs, all types of lobs. I'm talking driving, standing, whatever it is. And same with great isolation slasher, great post score. It's a dominant build. Now, like I said, there is one aspect of this build that I would definitely recommend touching a little bit more, and that is the post moves. If you plan to enter the post a lot with this build. If you don't plan to overuse the post game and all you're doing is trying to, pretty much this is how I was recommending how I would use it, right? I would get the ball on the 1v1 court, go with the triple threat, something like that. Go ahead and just drive, and then it would get me to the basket just like that. I don't need to post up to get down low. I'm functioning as a slasher, and if they clamp me up and it looked like they had a good angle on stopping me, I would just kind of, turn around, post it up, and then maybe go for the hook, or I'll go with the post speed boost, see if I can still get another contact dunk. You guys get the deal, or the hop dunks as well. Anyway, whole point with this is, it's very hard to figure out what to take away to get this post move stuff. Now, I've been functioning with no steal on this build the entire time I've been using it, but obviously the thing you're losing in the most aspect of this is the defensive badges. You lose 5 with that. I would say if you're not too worried about it, it's going to let you get crazy playmaking badges, and even at that, you could probably end up with like 6 or something like that anyway. But still, you guys get the deal. I don't think I would really advocate for having a low steal rating. I don't think that's something you're going to want to do personally. And then the one last thing I want to talk about is the close shot rating, right? So this is how I already process this in my brain. I'm not taking too many standing dunks. That's why I went with the small forward. I'm not going for the big man dunks or anything like that. So the only time I'm going to be down low and actually trying to finish the ball is maybe off some drop stepper stuff. But even at that, I don't see any function and point of me having drop stepper where I'm a slasher. If I'm trying to get down low and do anything but a post hook, I feel like I have the ability to do so. So I'm not really too worried about the drop steps or anything like that. And same goes with like the strength. Like I said, it's not that big a deal. Trust me, you're not going to struggle as far as the slashing goes with this build. It's been super dominant. It's super tall, has great physicals. I will say the one thing that going low on the weight is going to do, however, and you see I go with the build for the body shape. The one thing with going low on the weight is going to do is drop your interior defense by a lot, but you do gain a lot of speed and vertical by doing so. The vert is through the roof on this build. I'm talking 87 vertical, literally just for being 6'10", so that ends up getting +4 for the physical workouts. And then for the 99 performance, you're up to 95 vertical when you're at max ability with this build at 6'10". It's really crazy. Now, I don't think vertical really helps you when it comes to the drive game either. I don't think that's a big deal. So if you are somebody who's a little bit worried about whether or not you can speed boost with takeover on this build, I would probably recommend to go with this pure speed. But even at that, I do think speed and vert is very functional when it comes to the rebounding game. To have 95 vertical at 6'10", it's going to be super dominant. So for the takeover options, we have slasher, post score, and glass. I would definitely recommend to pick one of these two right here. I feel like what you're going to want to do with this build, it definitely, entails doing one of these two things right here. I do think you're still going to be in the offensive rebound area a whole lot, and same with the defensive rebounds, but I just don't think glass takeover is the best thing to do with this build. I would definitely recommend slasher myself because you have the contact dunks, you have great standing dunk ability and catching lobs and stuff like that. But if you're someone who wants to go outside the box and you want to go post takeover, I suppose that's up to your choice as well. So anyway, you complete the build. Slasher is the title. Now I'm going to go into this and show you guys a couple different versions of this that you could go with, but you can see shades of Michael Porter Jr., Lamar Odom, and LeBron James. I don't know how Michael Porter Jr. and Lamar Odom are comparisons of this build, but anyway. Alright, so the thing with the 6'9", you don't gain much for the physicals. As you can see, you only gain 2 speed, 3 excel, and 1 vertical. You don't really gain much either when it comes to perimeter defense or lateral quickness or the steal. It's all by about 3 pretty much. And then for the ball handling is the one major difference. Now you also gain pretty good driving dunk, but with the wingspan getting maxed out, it doesn't even matter. You don't need to go 6'9" for that. If you want to have more ball handling, definitely 6'8" is the way you would want to go. But even at that, your vertical is shooting through the roof. You're already past 99 vert at this point. I mean, that's literally 99 vertical. Now, if that's something you want, this 6'8" is pretty fire as well. But you can see 6'9" is about where all the defensive rebound stuff stops upgrading. Pretty much, past 6'9", you don't really gain anything as far as the block, D-board, O-board, or anything like that. 6'8" is going to be a good hybrid. If you want to have good ball handling, definitely would recommend it. But for overall dominance, I just think 6'10" is really the most fire way to go with this. All right, so as we finalize the thoughts on this build, I'm going to go ahead and just roll through some highlights. We're going to talk over this. I think this build is going to fit in really well on the 2v2 court. It's a great 1v1 court build as well, but the thing that I was struggling with the most was actually defending point guards. This build is definitely slow. You're going to lack the lateral quickness that you're going to want for guarding PGs. I would definitely recommend the best place you're going to put this build as far as positionally and where it's going to function best is definitely going to be 2v2 court. I would say 1v1 court, you're going to struggle to guard a couple of people, whether it be just gigantic post scorers or the point guards who are super hard to guard. They're super mobile, and you just have a lot of struggle defending them as far as keeping up with them. I was over here just forcing them to shoot, and all these dudes, even the bots, I'm talking dudes that were pros and rookies and stuff like that, they were still out here greening their shots. I don't know what it is with this 1v1 court. Maybe they just have the jump shots boosted. I don't know what it is, but all I know is I was struggling to guard even the most garbage of PGs, and it really, there was nothing you could do with it. The defense in this game is so bad, even if you're lockdown, where the sliding, you're just going all over the place. You have literally nothing you can do when it comes to that. Literally all you can do is just sag off and hope that they just miss. So, like I said, it's going to be a little bit of a tough scene on the 1v1 court. You're going to have a lot of struggles guarding the PGs, the post scores. Even sometimes there's lockdowns that really frustrated me where I couldn't really, they would bump me at the top and then they would just poke the ball from me every single time I entered the post. But if you're looking to make just a highlight reel machine of just crazy poster dunks, you're able to catch really good lobs, and you want to just have some fun, pretty much, this is going to be the build. And you're going to be a scoring machine. I mean, look at this. Like, the driving dunk ability for how tall you are is ridiculous. The height that you have as far as the lob catching that enables you to get the standing lobs, the driving lobs, and then I feel like you can still play pretty solid defense as well. You're going to see right here, this was me just showcasing what holding B does right here. And you can see this build is still capable of getting almost 90% contest. And not to mention, like I said earlier in the video, this build is a great rep build. You can see what you get for the finishing on this for literally just playing 1v1 court. 7.2k for the finishing in one game. Now, granted, this was against a point guard where I was able to get a lot of contact dunks. You're going to see I'm going to show the view game events where it's going to show how many contact dunks I had in this game. And look at this. I mean, the rep is shooting through the roof, even on the All-Star 3 bar. But 5 poster dunks equals 6,000 my points, even on the 1v1 court. Now, for those who have played 1v1 court and anything, whether it be a pure lock, a play sharp, anything like that, you guys know getting rep is extremely hard to do on this court. But this thing right here, I mean, with the double rep, I was getting literally 12k for 5 poster dunks. And the acrobatic layups still give about 300 as well. I'm going to just put it like this. You got to get contact dunks to get good rep. That's just kind of how it is. Even if you're on a slash defender or even a pure lock for that matter, you just got to get contact dunks to get rep. That's just how it is. But anyway, this build is a great rep build. Great to have fun with as well. Now you can see right there, this is the struggle of me not upgrading close shot. If you want to go with something different, you can go for it. I'm willing to live with that difficulty though, because I want to show you guys the downsides and the upsides of this build just to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. So like I said, strengths, obviously dunking, I mean, that's a given, and then post hooking, and then as well as catching lobs and stuff like that too. Weaknesses, like significant weaknesses, is perimeter defense. Honestly, sometimes interior defense, it just depends. I feel like it's also because I don't have my badges, but the interior defense rating is definitely low. And then I would say the post control as well is definitely a weakness where I would like to use it more, but I feel like I can't because of the fact that I get poked a lot when it comes to that aspect. But anyway, don't think I'm selling this build short at all. This is going to be a really fun build for me to use. I'm super excited to actually use this as well, but another really big weakness is definitely going to be the speed. I wouldn't recommend to run this on 3v3. This definitely doesn't fit into Pro-Am anywhere either. This is for if you're just a 2s head and a 1v1 court head who likes to, pretty much isolate score with the big men. So anyway, that's all for the video. Hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on the noties, all that good stuff. Let's try this 1 to 1k likes in the first 24 hours. And if you made it to the end of the video, put Slasher in the comments to show your support you made all the way through. On that, hope y'all enjoyed. Take it easy, man. Peace.